Welcome, everyone. This is the Chat Footy podcast. I am a dejected Chris Phelps, and my co-host today, and very, very good smug friend, is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
I like to think more effervescent than smug, but actually this weekend you might be a little bit right there.
And unfortunately, guys, good old Benny's not with us. He's got a prior engagement, but oh boy, did he want to be back on again today. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dave, I don't even know where to start. Where do you want to start? You could choose.
Well, I think we should start at the first game of the weekend. So let's head back to last week. So I was sure that United would win because Mourinho, I've never liked the football that he played, but he's been effective, over his career, and he has lost a little bit of that fairy dust that he had, earlier in his career. Certainly the wit and the sharpness, just in press conferences, that seems to have gone. You just get the bitterness now, but he's still a top manager. And I just thought, well, he's still going to, over the course of the season, churn out these results. West Ham have not had the best of starts. They invested a lot in the summer. But it's going to take till Christmas for them to gel. So, it'll be a dull game to watch. I think I was probably mostly right there. But United will churn out a 1-0 or maybe a 2-0. And so it was a bit of a surprise the way it went.
Well, I actually said to you, I didn't know what to expect. And we spoke obviously this week, didn't we, as well, off podcast. And I was not confident at all. And I think them players are not playing for him at all. And that's not an excuse. I think as a United fan, I don't think there's one person could understand how you can play an inexperienced holding midfielder as a centre-back, McTominay from nowhere. He's looked quite bright when he's played, but the whole team for me, I mean, he dropped Sanchez, he dropped Mata, and that had gone back to the bench, which he always seems to bring you, but he flicks and flops between the team. You've still got Fellaini and Matic there, two defensive midfielders, and everyone said it. Ashley Young on the right from nowhere, he put him right back. It was very, very, very bizarre team. And Owen Hargreaves kept saying, Dave, like on the commentary, they don't know what they're doing here. They don't defensively know what they're doing. And West Ham's goal, it wasn't even like they got a bit of luck. The second goal was lucky, obviously, but they made their own luck because it just went down the right. And I mean, Luke Shaw, who I've praised and been one of our best players this season, Zabaleta skinned him for pace.
Yeah,
and then
that was odd, wasn't it?
Yeah, just whipped in across. And it was a great little flick from Felipe Anderson, who coincidentally is in my fantasy team, which is quite good. But I think he is anyway. But genuinely, I wasn't surprised, Dave. And I've got to say, the players are not playing for him. So the whole Pogba sideshow, I said last week, get rid of both of them. And I'm of that opinion now, even more. The Pogba was terrible, messing about. He subbed him after about 70 minutes. But Mourinho, I think, I'm not a fair weather fan or someone who's just knee-jerk going to go, get rid of him, he's crap. I remember everyone calling for De Gea when we first got him, saying how terrible he was, but you could see he had to. I know De Gea's a player and he's a manager, but enough's enough now. And I think, hand on heart, and I'll be completely honest with you, Dave, and you're going to love this, and Ben's going to love this. I end up searching out other football matches at the moment to watch, just to enjoy, to watch attacking football. Now, we'll get onto that in a minute. I didn't enjoy the Chelsea-Liverpool game, but I can certainly be jealous of what's actually going on the pitch and then the sort of dynamic play of the teams. And that's what I end up doing. I end up watching some sort of European game or, just some Premier League game where I'm totally neutral, hoping for a bit of attacking football. And I've only come to that conclusion over the last day or so, especially after yesterday. And I'm thinking, you know what? You've just got to be honest sometimes and go, you know what? We're shit. And he's a bad manager now who's getting sussed out completely. And he's as you said to me the other day, his style of football worked and was effective. It does not effective anymore. He hasn't got, whether he's not got the players or not, he spent a lot of money, and we're just at a situation now. And I just think the best thing we can do, Champions League's looming on Wednesday. Valencia is just going to come and wipe the floor with us. I think that could be the final nail in the coffin on Wednesday, if I'm being honest.
Well, again, I mean, I've remained positive about how United will do this season, so I'm going to keep doing that.
Because he's working.
Just in case that's the magic ingredient, I'm going to keep doing it. But I can't help but think, he does just grind out results, and especially when it's backs to the wall. When a team like Valencia comes and they go to attack, they have a lot of the ball. I've said this on this podcast, on our coaching podcast as well. He's an out of possession manager. They didn't look like that on Saturday, but normally he has his teams well organized, and it's about nicking those goals up top with the quality that you've got. But a lot of what goes on in the coaching, on the training field, it seems it's all to do with when you don't have the ball. So for a team like Valencia, I think I could well see him getting a result there. It's the games like the West Hams, and when you're expected to actually do something with the ball, that's when I think you might struggle this year. But what I would say is, we saw this at Chelsea, didn't we? In his second stint, that it's almost the same. The two things that stick out to me as being the same are the players just, actually, no, there's three things. So he's just starts to come out with just bizarre things in press conferences and, blatantly attacking players. And, at Chelsea, it was the physio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so there's that. There's the fact that the players on the pitch just actually look like they don't want to play for him. And then there's the third thing, which, I don't think I've thought this of any other manager, but I thought it with Chelsea then, and I've thought it with United now. Is he trying to get the sack? And I laugh, but I'm kind of serious. He just seems to be, pushing it even more to say, well, I've got my contract. So, and I've still got my reputation. I could still walk into a top job in Europe. Even Moyes got a couple of other jobs, right? After he left United. So is he just trying to get a big payday or what?
It seems like that, Dave. It does. And I think as well, he had a little dig at the fans. Now, the fans have been loyal to him. Now, the only way to get Mourinho sacked, would to get rid of him. United fans are probably one of the most loyal fans you get, pretty much. You're going to get people kicking off and that. But on a match day, you're not going to get them. If someone boos around you, which I've seen it, a couple of times, they literally get punched or offered outside, because it's like, if you're going to boo someone, like I remember him booing Fellaini. There's a couple of day trippers around me, and that was the worst thing they ever did, Dave. They might as well be wearing an away shirt, and you just don't do that. I grew up knowing that no matter how bad they are, how much I don't like Fellaini, I'm never going to boo the guy. Well, he's on that pitch playing for my team. As much as I don't, it's not necessarily his fault.
So did everyone support Moyes right to the end?
Yeah, everyone did. No.
What about Van Gaal?
What I mean is, Dave, I mean when they're at Old Trafford.
Oh, right. I remember when the match is on.
When the match is on, don't get me wrong. I remember, I put it on Twitter yesterday. We played Fulham in the FA Cup. Moyes, he'd been there for about 5 months. He'd obviously, Rio and Vidic and that just down tools completely. And they just were injured and weren't playing. Van Persie didn't want to play for him and all this stuff. And we played him, and Wilfred Boney scored a belting header, and they beat us, I think it was 1-0. And the team was the worst I'd seen at United ever. And obviously, it's a shock for us all because we'd had Fergie the season before. And I knew then, I thought, he's gone. He's definitely gone, 100% gone. And he gave him a couple more months, and then he was gone. And Van Gaal was the same. You could just see it was going, and that was the end of it. We won the FA Cup and all that, but the football was terrible. Now, the football is worse under Van Gaal than it is under Mourinho, but I agree with you, Dave. There's just something there where we spoke, obviously, privately the other day, that he's still staying at the Lowry Hotel in Manchester. He's the longest serving hotel guest ever at any Manchester hotel, because he's been there for nearly two and a half years now, nearly 3 years. Yeah. He's never settled. His family are in London, so there's no long-term plan there. And I know some of the stuff I've heard about some of the youth players who were promised they were going to get in the team, and then all of a sudden he just says, right, you're out. You're going alone. And he's farmed players out who have who've actually turned down permanent moves to Premiership teams, some of the youth players, and they're stuck in limbo, especially one of them. I'm not going to give his name away because obviously it's speculation, but I've heard that pretty much from his old man, through a friend of mine. So it's like he's not liked at Old Trafford, and I think I can live with that. The first season I could live with it because we won trophies, but not now. It's like we were second last year, but we're not playing like second. I mean, I've looked at looking at the goal difference now. We're -2. The goal difference. Have you ever known United be minus on anything, Dave? You might get it the first game or so if they got beat or something, but not 7 games in. You know, we're 9 points behind you in City, and there's not a cat in hell's chance we're going to get anywhere near us looking at the way we're playing.
No, I mean, even last year, though, I mean, you finished second, but the football wasn't that different, was it? It wasn't exciting to watch.
No, it wasn't. You could pick City away and Crystal Palace away when we were 2-0 down in both games, and we had to play. And that's what I thought yesterday. Yesterday, I thought we're 2-0 down. There's a bit of urgency. We scored. I thought, right, here we go. He makes 2 subs, brings Pogba off and Martial, and brings Mata on and Rashford scored immediately. And I thought, right, we are on. And they just walked up the other end of the pitch, West Ham, taking the mick, and buried us. And it was like, that is just awful. I mean, until he gets that defence sorted, we're never going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I do have to say, what a lovely goal from Rashford.
Yeah, good flick, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, how often is that going to come off? I don't know, but it was pretty damn special to hit that, you know, at the pace that was whipped in, to get his back heel on it in that angle. You know, the only place in the goal that he could have put it to score, I thought was brilliant.
It was,
but only surpassed by the goal coming right after.
Yeah, straight away and out of it. Yeah, it was a terrible goal.
I have to say, I mean, what a ball by Noble. I mean, a great run by Arnautovic.
Yep.
But Noble held on to the ball. He was waiting for the pass, and he timed it, and the weight of the pass was just perfect. And he panicked a bit, didn't he, Arnautovic?
Yeah. He is a good player, and he's got the Ibrahimovic about him, and that arrogance.
Well, it's funny because you and I were doing our little experiment with the gossip, the Chat Footy Gossip podcast in the summer, and he seemed to be. It was a reoccurring link, wasn't it, all the way through the summer that he was being linked with United, and he stayed there, but. To be honest, if he puts in more performances like that, because he'd hardly trained, had he? He'd been injured.
Yeah.
It puts in a few more performances like that, you know, and has a decent season, he won't be there next year.
No, I don't think he will either. I just hope he doesn't, because he's a big fish in a small pond. I just hope he can do that and elevate himself. I know he was with Mourinho into Milan when he was a youth player, wasn't he? But he's got something about him, definitely. Anyway, Dave, let's not depress myself with that. Let's depress myself with the next game. Now, your boys...
just the very last thing I'll say on it. I think, you know, you listen to the commentators and whatever, it does seem... I think everyone's expecting Mourinho to go now, isn't he? So, let's see. I still think... You're right. I mean, if they lose in midweek in the Champions League, then it makes it pretty difficult, you know, pretty untenable. But I wouldn't be surprised now if the hierarchy at United were looking at alternatives.
Yeah, in fact, I know we're going to move on to next game, but I would say, Dave, I'm not convinced by Zidane. That sounds absolutely farcical to say it, as he's won that many European Cups and La Liga and that. But that was his first ever coaching role, wasn't it? He was in the reserves of Real Madrid and they got promoted within their structure. A bit like Guardiola when he left, you know, and they had that, obviously I know they had passed away, didn't he, Tito Dingy and that, but it was within that structure with them players. You're always on a winner. So I think it's one of them where I'm not sure who we could get, but if they go for him, it could be a mistake unless he's backed properly.
So he's probably not a safe pair of hands, is he? You know,
No.
it'd be a little bit of a gamble. And you would think that, you know, if someone was going to employ someone like that, they'd not only interview and speak to him, but they'd speak, you know, to contacts that they know, you know, about his approach, his style and whatever. Because it seems ridiculous now, but I'll admit this. when Guardiola went to City, and basically everyone on the City side was celebrating. It's like, we've got the world's best coach, world's best manager to come in. I was saying, well, he took over at Barcelona. He took over a great squad of players. Now, he was more successful than his predecessor, than when Rijkaard was there. Yeah. But he's coming in and he's got Messi, he's got Iniesta, Xavi, all these fantastic players. I was saying, I could do an okay job, with those players, you would think most people could go in and do a decent job. He's then gone to Bayern Munich, who, are basically, it's like Celtic. Going to Celtic in Scotland, isn't it? If you go to Bayern Munich in Germany, they always buy all the best players. They always, they're always up there. So, but when he went to City, I was like, well, this is his first real test, because although City had a lot of money, you could see in the players that they had, they were all, the wrong side of 30, weren't they? They were all getting a bit older. And I was like, all right, let's see what he does here. And history's taught me that no, actually he is pretty special. But I think it's the same thing with Zidane, isn't it? He needs to do it somewhere else, and United would be, if he did it at United, you'd have to say, right, blimey, there is something special about this guy.
Yeah, whereas, I agree.
Yeah, he isn't, like I say, that safe pair of hands.
Put it this way, Dave. First day in, Zidane. Let's think fantasy. Now, first day in, no problem. Now, I remember Moyes getting a load of slating for showing Rio and Vidic videos of Jagielka's defending. Now, if he comes into United and shows them Ramos, and he's talking to, hi, I'm Chris Smalling. He speaks to Chris Smalling, who's absolute nonsense of a player. Worst. Oh, he's terrible. You've got Smalling, Jones. He's only Bailly, who's a good defender, but he's just totally void of confidence after he played badly the other week. And you come in, and then he looks around the dressing room, and he's thinking, well, where's my Cristiano Ronaldo? Hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, there's Anthony Martial in the corner crying because he's not been playing. Or there's Lukaku, whose touch the best of times isn't even conference standard. So you might get the goals, but you're thinking, where is that person who's going to lead the team? Pogba. You might get a tune out of Pogba, Frenchman. He might, be able to deal with him better, but I just can't see it, Dave. I just really can't. I just think Mourinho's the manager we needed in 2013. And two managers later who brought in their own dregs of awful players, he's firefighting against something he can't win, unfortunately, because of how well City have been playing and stuff, and Liverpool now as well. So,
I'm sure I've said it before. Again, I can't remember which podcast it was, whether it was this one or the coaching one. But if you look at the setup of Southampton, right, they seem to have their back room sorted as well as anyone else. Because the amount of changeover they've had in managers, but they still keep churning out players. They still keep playing good football. It says to me they've got the back room sorted. It seems to be that, United, and it'll be interesting, again, see how Arsenal develops, because Ferguson had basically grown that club, gone from the days where the manager had his finger in every pie, there was nothing that could go on without the manager knowing, to becoming this huge, multi-billion-dollar industry that it is. I think it's been a massive change, but it's gone from that to a Moyes type philosophy, to a Van Gaal type philosophy, to a Mourinho philosophy, and they're all buying slightly different players to fit into their own philosophy. Well, if you buy in players without that idea of, right, this is the DNA of our club, this is how we're going to play, these are the types of players that we want to have. If you're just buying expensive players, you're going to be wasting a lot of money, because the next manager, they might not fit into that way of playing.
Yeah. No, that's a great point.
So and long may it continue, because having lived in Manchester for 10 years while United were basically cleaning up and having to suffer it, I'm quite enjoying it at the moment. But it unfortunately it all swings around, doesn't it? I mean, it sometimes takes decades, but it all swings around. So I'm just going to enjoy it while it lasts for the moment.
You keep doing that, Dave.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's depress me. Let's depress me even more, and let's talk about the Chelsea-Liverpool game, mate. So what did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, great for the neutral. I think, happy of the two sets of fans. Liverpool, we're going to be happier with that result just because of the timing. Just psychologically, I thought it was good, and I think the manager Sarri, he tried to play down Chelsea before. I think even before they played in the Carabao Cup earlier, midway through last week. And saying Manchester City and Liverpool are a step ahead of them. Which I think it was a bit premature, really, especially on the Liverpool side. It had a few good results in the league, but we haven't really started the league yet. I mean, we're almost a fifth of the way through, aren't we? But
yeah,
I thought he was being a little bit coy about that. And sure enough, they did us in the Carabao Cup, and they still look good. They're still going to be up there, aren't they? This year, and I'm quite happy with the point, just because, like I say, I could have quite easily called all three outcomes. Liverpool could have won, Chelsea could have won, or it would have been a draw. As it happens, it was a draw. And like I say, just the fact that it happened in the 89th minute, we are unlikely to miss so many good chances in a game, and only score one goal. It just looked like it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So, one of the hardest chances ended up being the Sturridge one. But I mean, did you see the game?
Dave, I watched the whole game, especially as me, you, and Ben in our little WhatsApp group. I had, as I said before the game, I had the GIF ready, the big, fuck off GIF. I had the big. We're going to stick it to your GIF. And when Hazard scored, I have like a goals galore thing at work where these five of us in a little pool where it's both teams have got to score and like a 10-game coupon. So we all do it one week. In fact, every fifth week we do it. So you put a fiver on. You can win like between 1,200 to 1,800, depending on the games. I just randomly pick games out. And one of the games was Chelsea-Liverpool. So we're watching telly, me and Sam. And I've got on my phone, the Sky Go on, which I know is a minute behind. So I'm watching Liverpool attack, and all of a sudden this app just flashes up 1-0 to Chelsea, and I'm like, you bastard. So I had to take it off the app then because it ruined it, because I was watching it live. But I went out the room to make a brew, and it was 1-0. And I'm not lying to you, Dave. To compound the fact that I had everything ready to give it you and Ben, because I even said when Hazard scored, the old head above, like the jokers who say hi, the Mr. Bean thing, taking the mic, and used to laughing. And then as soon as I just walked in the room and looked down at my phone, and I saw Sturridge hit it, and it wasn't a replay; it was like literally live as I'd seen it. And I just looked down to put my brew down. And I was like, that's going in, and it went in the top corner. And straight away, the Homer Simpson hiding to the hedge thing come out. I was like, oh, no. But to be fair, I thought you started well. Could have had a couple of goals. And then Chelsea, like Hazard, like you'd even said to me the day before about Hazard, didn't you? Saying he's going to have one of them seasons, I think, where he's just going to dominate everything. And then, like the long goodbye sort of thing, long kiss goodbye. And that's how it felt with him. He's head and shoulders above everyone. And the only thing I'd say, the only positive I can take, Dave, and it doesn't matter because he still scored, is Salah's not looking like himself at the moment. I don't know if he's tired or not, or that season, not it was a fluke, but that season's took a lot out of him, but he just doesn't look right at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, on Hazard, so what I'd said is, when Ronaldo had his last season for United, when Suarez had his last season for Liverpool, they just jumped up another level and played, they were just the best players in the league for that season. And it looks to me, certainly, he's scored twice against us in 2 games now in a week. And, he does look like that player. He looks like the best player in the league by far at the moment. And, the goal that he scored, he made it look easy, but it wasn't. You
No, it
know,
wasn't.
you had Joe Gomez coming in, closing him down. He's no slouch at all. And with his left foot, you know, he just pops it into the far corner and, you know, the only angle that he could possibly score. And, you know, Alisson's you know, he's not a small keeper either. So I just thought it was an outstanding finish. But with Salah, you know what? I'm not quite as down as everyone else, I don't think, because his finishing looks off. But this time last season, it looked a bit off as well. He didn't start the way he kind of finished. He had a purple patch, I would say, around, you know, the middle to almost the end of the season. But he's still getting into the positions. You know, he's still lightning quick. He's strong on the ball. He's still got good body movement. You know, he sold the defender with just one little shimmy, ends up in a good position, and then sticks it in Rosed with the finish, and everyone remembers the finish. But to actually get into that position, I thought was really good play. So I don't know. He's not firing on all cylinders for sure, but for me, I'd still have him in there. And unfortunately, you know, he got substituted, and then Shaqiri comes on for him, and then misses a chance that, you know, even Salah, how he's playing now, I think he'd have stuck away. So
yeah, to be fair, I think Shaqiri, if he'd been on his left, it'd have been a goal all day long.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you know, I looked at it and I thought you could have even taken a touch.
Yeah. He could have, to be fair, but I thought he's played well. I thought he defended well. He set up the team well. You know, Chelsea, as the home team, are going to attack, but you give them a run for the money. You didn't just sit back completely. And I think on another day, you probably could have stole something. You could have got a proper result. I think for you, like you said afterwards, she's right, and Ben said the same. It felt like a victory, which it does, especially when your back's against the wall. You know, I mean, obviously at the moment, as I've just alluded to, we're terrible, but every game I want us to win. And then when you get to that desperation mode, don't you, 10 minutes to go, thinking, God, I just want to draw now. But you go into it thinking, I want to win every game. So I think in the long haul of it is Chelsea have started to come to Anfield. You know, so at the end of the day, that's a bit of a fortress at the moment. So it's working.
You know what? We will not win the league by beating Chelsea, City, and United.
No.
So it's everyone else, right? You beat everyone else, and that's where you win the league. So I think it doesn't even, because Liverpool have generally done quite well under Klopp, you know, against the top sides. Probably United is that one blip. You know, he don't seem to have done very well against you in recent years at all. But you know, I think we've done well against those teams, but it's the others. It's the mid-table and the teams that defend deep, you know, and just hit us on the break. Those are the ones that we've struggled against. So it'll be close. I mean, City look pretty ominous still, don't they? But
yeah,
you know, no, it was, like I say, just felt like a victory. I am enjoying our little WhatsApp group, to be honest. Some of the imagination on the gifs. Again, I'll try and explain it, but obviously the West Ham United game had been on earlier in the day, and so Ben and I were giving it large. It's fair to say.
Yeah.
You know, with a slight, you know, we knew that the game was coming up in the evening, so we're feeding Chris all the ammunition he needs to just give it back both barrels. And of course, the Chelsea goal comes in, and the gif of basically Mr. Bean, just big smile on his face, just raised eyebrows, just a little subtle nod. Just absolutely brilliant, perfect gif. But yeah, I tell you what though, for that Sturridge goal, as great as it was, I've watched it a few times now, and the Chelsea defence don't half stand off him.
But he looks up, Dave. He looks up for a long time, doesn't he? As if like they were giving him no respect. And Sturridge can score left, right headers. You know, he's a good striker. When he's fit, he's a great striker.
Yeah.
You know, I know he's had his injury problems, and he was found out on loan because Klopp didn't fancy him because of all the problems they've had, just because of his injury record, not because of his ability. And you're looking at him, and even now you're thinking, why wasn't he fit for England in the summer?
Yeah,
he started so well for us this season when he's come on and that. So it's just it's frustrating as an England fan, I think, as well. But what a goal! I mean, he looks up again and goes, you know what? I'm going to have a go for this. And it it's one of them 1 in 100 shots, but it was an absolute cannon of a shot. And but it's probably going to be pretty much up there in the top 3 or 4 of the month. That goal of the month at least.
Yeah.
Cracking goal.
Like you say, it's the fact that he's not just got his head down and just hit it as hard as he could. He's looked up, picked his spot, and I think they said on the commentary, there's the only the size of the between the goalkeeper's hand and the bar is about the size of the ball, and that's exactly where the ball had to go, and it went. And it was just it was pretty special, and like I say, as a fan, it happens in the 89th minute when you're losing, just absolute dream world.
No, I'm with you. Great goal, and deserved point as well. And obviously, going into the next game, which is all segued in really, is the City game, City against Brighton. Now you and City are both on 19 points, which I don't think is a bad thing, to be honest, Dave, because, going away to Stamford Bridge, and you've had quite a good record there over the years. I think it's not bad. I mean, who have you got next? Liverpool?
Good question.
In fact, I'll tell you.
Let me have a look at the fixtures.
No, we're playing at R5 next week.
So we've got Napoli. Oh, City.
Is it City? Is it away?
Oh, of course it is. Yeah. I'm going to the pub.
Oh, yeah.
This one, I think. No, it's at Anfield.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a good game. We're in Newcastle at home. Oh, that'd be a cracking game then, Dave. I'll be watching. That's 4:30, isn't it? So
yeah.
Especially with Southampton, Chelsea on before, you'll know the result of what's going down then. Yeah.
And we beat City 3 times out of 4 last year.
All
right, that one time they beat us was 5-0, but let's skim over that one. We had 10 men. So yeah, that's a tasty one, isn't it?
Yeah, really good game that. Let's just hope you kick 10 sons of what out of each other. But don't worry, Dave. I can't really send any gifts if City beat you because I hate them as much as I hate Liverpool. So,
see, you say that, but I remember in the 13-14 season, all the United supporters seemed to be strangely supporting City.
Yeah, well, so I did do that.
Yeah, if it's out the two, I think the hatred for Liverpool is probably just that bit more, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you overtaking us in the league wins, and obviously we've only won the Premier League, and you haven't at the moment, haven't we? So you can still throw the 5 times at us. So yeah, it's all fair in love and war, Dave.
Speaking of which, I have to say, going to the Carabao Cup last week, old Harry Wilson's goal was a bit special, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a belter, wasn't it? An absolute scream. That was like a FIFA goal gone wrong. It was like a glitch or something because he played well in that, Romero as well. He kept us out. Derby played really well. We started off well. It was a great goal for Matson. After that, we just we're done for the evening now, lads. Come at us. I don't know what was going, but yeah. Belting free kick, top corner, the ball swerve Ronaldo style. I think that's definitely got one of the goals of the season. That was a great goal.
Yeah, he's been practicing those. I mean, to be honest, he's been in and around the Liverpool youth team for ages.
Yeah.
And he got called up to Wales when he was about 16 or something. And at the time you're thinking, oh, right, who's this kid? And but then he hasn't really pushed on and certainly not come into the first team at all. But I look at that and he got man of the match, didn't he? I think
he played well.
Actually, he might actually make it,
Yeah. I think with Lampard there, though, he's going to give him that bit of freedom by the looks of it. I mean, and that's another kick in the teeth, not to keep going back to United, but, he got whipped by Lampard, didn't he, Mourinho? So,
yeah.
One of his apprentices, wasn't it? So,
right.
Yeah. No, good stuff. If you spotted anything else over the weekend, Dave, before we...
Well, yeah, so City, I mean... standard, win against Brighton. I do think Raheem Sterling again. He looks like he's stepped up a level. He's such a different player when he plays for City than for England. But I think, again, going to that game next week, he's never played well against Liverpool since he's gone to City. But I always fear, because I rate him really highly, and he's just, I think because of the way he left and everything, he gets a bit stick from the fans. I think it all gets to him a bit. So he's never really played well, but you just think statistically at some point he's going to turn it on, and he's going to put in a man of the match performance. But yeah, so, City's win fairly easy. I thought Arsenal were a little bit lucky to 2-0. It sounds comfortable. I don't think it was. Watford could have quite easily come away with something there. Everton, looking at theirs, so that was a decent 3-0, wasn't it, against Fulham? And again, Fulham, they spent a lot of money in the summer, didn't they? But a little bit up and down, I think, and they might be, they might take a little bit of time to gel as well.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I wanted to know over the weekend, Dave, as well, is my boys Burnley took Cardiff. Now, Dave, my little observation last week, you and Ben have now seen the light when it came to Neil Warnock's haircut. Would you like to discuss that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hadn't really thought about it, until you mentioned it on the podcast. And so I thought, right, I'll Google him. And then one of the first images that came back, I mean, it's hard to describe, isn't it? But it is like he's got a wig on.
Yeah, it is.
It's bizarre, right?
Well, I must admit, I'll hold my hands up. Afterwards, I was thinking, oh my God, he's not had an illness, has he, or something? Like,
oh God, he's got cancer or something,
Yeah, I don't mean, obviously, that's close to my heart as anything. So I would never take the mick. I don't think he has, but when you just say something flippantly as a joke, I'm thinking, oh my God, have I not dropped myself in it? I was waiting for someone to give me a roasting, but I don't think the 4 listeners were that bothered, Dave. Yeah. Leave them and me, you and Ben, and then the 4th one, someone from East Asia, so we're all right, I think. Good stuff. So I think that's it, Dave, for this week. I think is there anything else you want to drop in there before I go?
No, I'm just trying to think where are Burnley now? So Burnley are 12th. I keep looking for Burnley and how they're doing, because that's your tip for the top 4.
You know what I love though? It's still one of the funniest things in any of the podcasts I've ever done was we were doing our Comics in Motion podcast and you were laughing, weren't you, when you said Matron the other day? We were chatting, weren't we, about what we reviewed this weekend, Man of Steel. But it's when I said Wolverhampton Wanderers, and then I said I've got another one here. No, and Ben goes, "What? They're not your dark horse?" And you went, "What?" And then Ben went, "Oh, I can't wait for this." And you went, "Oh, blimey." It's like it's proper comedy timing, and it's something that stuck in my head with the podcast. Is I think, you know what, these are going to be fucking rubbish this season. I'm going to get roasted, and they're not coming in the top 4. What a terrible prediction.
Yeah. So no. So I think that's it. I mean, you've now got City and Liverpool on 19 points. You got Chelsea on 17. It's all building up to next week, isn't it? That's going to be intriguing. And again, as a fan, I'd take a point now, to be honest.
Well, I think looking at the team, Dave, looking at the moment, I mean, obviously it's going to be a hard sell for me as a United fan to even look past even Arsenal at the moment, who are 5th. But if Chelsea draw and you and City draw, then it opens it up. If Arsenal and Spurs win, then they're on 18, and it right, they could be a right list of teams there fighting. So that's the only way someone below could get in through the back door if they start taking points off each other. But potentially you could have 5 teams within a point or 2 points of each other next week.
Yeah. I mean, just to say on Arsenal, I guess, it was going to be intriguing to see how they did. And they've won their last 5 games now. Yeah. They're sort of quietly going about it, aren't they? So, they're on 15 points. So only 4 points off City. And you sort of think they haven't looked spectacular. And they didn't have a great start, but just been quietly going about it.
Yeah, I agree. And that could be a good thing for Arsenal, because the glamour, flashy stuff only works in certain games, doesn't it? And then when they needed that bit of fight, they never had it. So maybe that's what Emery's doing with them. He's giving them that bit of steel. So no, I'm with you on that. I think that top 5, Dave, if I'm being completely honest at the moment, that's going to be the top 5. You know, whether they end up in them positions, I don't know, but I don't think we're going to hit top 5 at the moment.
It's not looking likely, is it?
No. No.
But it's a long season, you know, like I say, 7 games in, still plenty of football to play. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Good stuff, Dave. Now, have you got any plugs for us, Dave, before we go?
Grassroots, innit?
Yeah.
My mind just went blank. So yeah, Chris, I would like to plug, as I always do, the Grassroots Coachcast. So that's where Ben and myself talk about youth football coaching. We both coach under 11s teams. Ben coaches the boys and I coach the girls, and we come together and discuss some kind of subject, some aspect of what it is we're doing, some of the challenges that we have with that, and on and off the pitch, and yeah, just put ourselves out there to hopefully help other coaches out there who are in a similar position. About yourself, Chris?
Yeah, we've got our podcast, Comics in Motion. So if you're into comics books or into sort of superhero movies, get over to Comics in Motion P on Twitter or on iTunes, the Comics in Motion podcast, where myself and Dave run through each week either a movie, TV series, animated film, or animated cartoon, and we just review it and give it our eagle eye and expertise, shall we say, Dave, after 38 podcasts. And also my vlog is live on YouTube.
So sorry, I listened back to it and I thought, you know, I never thought I'd say on, I mean, this isn't radio, is it? On a podcast, on any kind of recorded medium. What was it? Something like giant space penis?
Did you not see that? I actually edited that out, by the way. I edited it out because you when you said giant black space penis, I edited out the black because I thought we may be walking, even though we changed it, we may be walking a tightrope there, Dave. Yeah. So I did edit the black.
I thought, yeah. I thought I'd said black. I mean,
you did. Yeah.
It is actually a big black space penis. But...
I know, but I just thought,
no, you're probably right there.
I just thought, I was thinking more like you with the kids, you know, at some point going, hey, that's really risque, Dad. You know, if they ever listen back, you know, when they're older. No, I did. I just thought, no, that might be walking, because we changed it anyway. When you said a big black dildo, and I was like, no, we can't. Then we changed that anyway. When I thought, no, what? I'll take the black out. I forgot to say it to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've lost it now. So yes, get yourselves over to Comics in Motion and give our podcast a follow. And then also my vlogging channel is live, CPod 78 vlogs, where there's different vlogs from New York and around the world, and I'm all gearing up for my Vegas trip, so there'll be plenty of videos to get involved with. And that's it, I think, Dave.
Good stuff.
Now,
so,
Dave,
looking forward to the next week.
Oh,
we're both trying to see. We're both trying to see. How can I say? So, Chris, how are you going to lead us out?
Well, Dave, as a disgruntled Manchester United fan, there's nothing positive coming out of Old Trafford. The only thing I can say is I don't get anything to say. I've got nothing positive.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah. See you later. See you next week.